Gators.
Yeah, I mean, Los Gatos. It starts off Friday night. Beat the Auburn Tigers 40-39 for the men's national track and field championship.
Awesome.
That is Mike Holloway, coach of the Gators, Leroy Burrell at Auburn, going up against his former teammate, Carl Lewis. I met Carl Lewis one time at a 5K in Memphis when he was at his prime as a runner. Unbelievable athlete. Oh, my God. But that was big.
Let's go on the 40, big boy.
Yeah,
line them up.
Hey, man.
Chalk it up.
Look, we got World Series, College World Series going on. Lots to talk about. Real quick, smash the subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner. Allow notifications on Android and iPhone. Tell friends, family, and neighbors. Bo Carter, Friends Beard. A lot of baseball. Come on. We'll be right back.
Sidelines with Rob Browne. Talk sporty to me.
All right, Bo Carter. What a weekend in baseball, college baseball, World Series. This is exciting. We got Georgia today. It's loser leaves town. It's a hair match like Monday Night Wrestling at the old Mid-South Coliseum. Somebody is going to have their feelings hurt today. Georgia and NC State going to go at it in Athens today. So right now, we've got the Florida Gators in. 9th time in the 14 years Kevin O'Sullivan has been the head coach of the Florida Gators. 9 times. It sounds like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. 9 times.
9 times.
And we're going to get Bo to chronicle this in a second, Brenden, because Bo is so knowledgeable. Baseball Writers of America, National Football Foundation. He's everywhere. All right. So Texas A&M. This is their 8th or 9th trip to the College World Series. They beat Oregon, and what a game that was. We'll talk about that. Tennessee, my goodness, 173 home runs. Now the record all time. LSU, 1997, 188. Okay? So you got that going on. And then let's not forget, first time ever in the Bluegrass, Kentucky hosts the regional, super regional up they host, and they're going to the College World Series. So we got Kentucky, Texas A&M, Florida, Tennessee, and hopefully Georgia's going to take care of business today against NC State. Right now we got 4, could be 5. Last time we had 5 teams in the College World Series, Bo Carter, I think it was 1996, 97. But, Bo, welcome to Sidelines.
Hey, glad to be here, Rob. And it's, gosh, what a week for college baseball. And I mean, you talk about you hit it on the head. A lot of comebacks yesterday. Brenden can appreciate that the Gators coming into the NCAA with a 28-26 record and winning the Super Regional on the road at Clemson in 13 innings yesterday. Boy, what a one of the best Super Regional games I've ever seen.
All right, Bo, we put that in perspective, and Brenden, you knows this, but the Gators have 34 wins, and they're going to Omaha. They were runner-up last year. And Tennessee, in comparison, 55. Now, let me just say this, too, while we're talking about carrying the load in transportation. I want to welcome aboard a sponsor I am really proud to have, Coolmore Logistics and Transportation, trucking company based in Memphis with a global reach. Anything you need, LTL, less than truckload, full truckload, expedited, lumber, steel, coil, anything, seed, cotton, anything. They can take care of it. You'll find them on our website. Everything's being built in at sidelines.live. You're going to hear a lot about these people. Growing company, Robert Weaver and the great people over there. Again, trucking, everything gets delivered on a truck. Let Coolmore Logistics and Transportation be your provider. Bo Carter, Kevin O'Sullivan. was at Clemson. You followed his career for a while. Where does he rank among the coaches? This is the ninth. You know what this is? 2007 New York Giants, 9-7, took on the mighty, undefeated New England Patriots. David versus Goliath. And as Shug Jordan said that time, I recall David was a 40-point underdog to Goliath. And it turned out quite well, said the man from Selma, Alabama.
That was before we forgot to figure in the slingshot on that on those odds. That's right. But anyway, he had a good time. No, really, it's amazing. Good. I love Coach Jordan's quotes, but
I do too.
It just like you were saying, Tennessee #1 for like the last 5 or 6 weeks in the polls, and Florida actually played the nation's toughest schedule in most of the rating deals. So they warmed up with quite a menu, and just make your way through the SEC. Kevin O'Sullivan deserves a lot of credit there, man. They've got good talent. Jack Cagley, known arguably, if not the best player in college baseball, hit another home run yesterday, and I think they intentionally walked him 3 times. So it's he's a weapon every time he's plus a great pitcher as well.
Well, you know what's crazy, and I think Brenden can back me up on this. I don't think Jack Caglione was a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award. That's ridiculous.
No, he is for the Dick Hauser Trophy, which will be presented Friday. So,
okay.
Give the sports writers credit; they know what they're doing.
No, they do.
Writers,
Well, Bo, no question. I just thought I'd heard that, and I was going, Caglione's from Tampa, Plant City, something like that. God, he's good. I mean, you talk about fun college baseball, Bo. Jackie Sherrill was on the show.
Watch.
Yeah,
I mean, like you go into the park, he gives you the feeling. I don't know. He gives you that old, when he gets up to the plate, he gives you that old school feeling like anything's possible. You know what I mean? Like
because it is.
Yeah, and it's just that's what's exciting about somebody as dominant as that offensively to come in, and he's so fun to watch because when he hits it, man, God, rarely do you see someone make contact with a baseball like he does. It sounds like it's a bomb when it just jumps off the barrel of the bat. I mean, and his hand, I was talking about the other day, I was like, his hands are so fast. Like his hands are so quick because he'll adjust to a ball coming on the inside. He'll pull it with power, left center, like 450. I mean, the guy hits it far, right? And he's just been fun to watch. And I think that's going to be, I think he's the difference maker, obviously, this year. And like Bo said, look, everyone said Gators are done. They're not going to play well this year. They got a shot. They had a bad season. Look, Kevin O'Sullivan is one hell of a coach. That's why the Gators locked him up till 32 or something like that. 2032, I believe his contract is. Yeah.
All right, here's a gentleman. This is something from a viewer down in Fort Lauderdale who is out on the beach right now watching on his phone. He said, if Georgia wins or if they don't, move the Men's College World Series out of Omaha. I can't repeat that on the show. Women and children watching and orphans and widows. And put it in Hoover. Hey, and he also says, oh, yeah, it's college athletics. Where's the Big Ten?
Yeah.
Whoa! Hey, I don't know what's in this coffee this morning, but
I don't either. I'm not sure where you're at right now. I'm trying to follow you. Then we ended up in the Big Ten. I'm not sure how we got there.
Well, Bo Carter, make some sense out of this day. As Rich Little would do when he would try to calm himself down doing an impersonation, he would go, I am not a crook. Bo Carter, how cool is it? I mean, Hoover would have to build a 25,000 plus. Let's talk about Omaha. What a special place it is.
It's amazing. It really is. They've had the NCAA World Series up there 74 consecutive. Of course, it got called off because of COVID in 2020. But it's the longest continuous venue in NCAA history. And the second longest, interesting, is Florence, Alabama. North Alabama hosted the D2 championships for, I think, 26 or 27 years. They decided to move it to a soccer facility in Kansas City. Don't ask me why. And now it's in McKinney, Texas, down the road. A really nice $70 million high school football stadium over there.
Yeah.
But no, but the Omaha thing experience is just amazing for the players. Each team is adopted by a local civic club. Pardon me, and they have picnics for them. That's how the 2 and barbecue thing got started. If you lose 2, you get a barbecue by the local civic club, and then you're out of Omaha. So that was the old the initial the origin of 2 and barbecue phrase.
Brenden, as Ed McMahon would often say, or Johnny Carson, I did not know that. Well, that is cool.
Well, I don't know. Have you been to Omaha, Rob?
I've been through there on the way to go hunting out in South Dakota. We always go through Omaha, but not to College World Series.
Yeah,
I've not been out there.
The town itself is fun.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's great. And they're great people there. And I think that's what makes that place. And that's what makes the College World Series. And then you've got the Little League World Series, I think, goes out there. It's a fun town. And it's a huge area of business and industry too, which a lot of people don't understand too. So out in the West, it's a major hub there. It's just, you don't expect it when you're in Nebraska, at least.
Well,
you roll upon it.
You know what else people don't think about in Nebraska? You get out in the northwest corner. It's called the Sand Hills, 19,000 square miles. I mean, you think you were on Mars. And it is. Nebraska is an amazing state. About 1.7 million people, probably.
I'm not going amazing. I'm going to.
No, it is.
I'm really not going to go amazing.
Hey, I rank a state as amazing based on how good the hunting and fishing is.
I do not.
See, I do.
I do not.
I say, but the people out there, they're all in, and they. You talk about branding, College World Series, Omaha Steaks and Burgers. I mean, stuff like that. Bo. College baseball. Jackie Sherrill said on the show a week ago Friday, said probably 85% of the eyeballs and the money that comes into college comes from college football TV revenue. Then you got March Madness, and maybe 2 or 3% is baseball. But I'm looking at these crowds, and I know they're not SEC football stadium size, but we're growing college baseball. And I saw a book at Barnes & Noble. I've got to pick it up next time I'm in there. It's on sale for $20. It's the baseball stadiums, all the venues now and in the past, and there's pictures and all the stats. Have you seen this book, Bo?
Yes, it's pretty amazing. And and Rob and Brenden, you guys know too, they credit Ron Polk, the Mississippi State coach, with sort of being the godfather of the renaissance of SEC baseball, because when he came from Georgia Southern to Mississippi State in 1976, and remember a lot of places were Kentucky was playing in sort of a expanded high school stadium. The Kentucky coach also had to work at a bank 6 hours a day to supplement his salary or whatever. Too, they did that until about 20. I know until about 20. Can you imagine Nick Mingione working as a loan officer at the First National Bank of Lexington or whatever? They're during the day and switching into his practice uniform, dashing out there at 2:00. So the coach at LSU was the equipment manager of the football team. It's just unbelievable to see in the last 40 or 50 years how the SEC has become more and more. I mean, just the nation's powerhouse in baseball.
Ralph Jordan Jr., Suge's son, told me, he said, Rob, as a kid, I used to be there at the house. The phone would ring, and Junior, there's Coach Troupe up here, Kentucky. We coming down there to play y'all in that barn down there, the sports barn. He goes, make sure your father can get me to go fishing out there. Of course, I want to catch those big bass. They catch those 8 and 10 pound bass at the AU School of Fisheries. Yeah. Nobody needs to know that. Nothing to see. Just keep driving along here. All right. Bo, you just said something about baseball. All right. College baseball, Ron Polk. And Sid Swaminathan, a friend of mine, is working on a book on the history of SEC baseball. Ooh. You know Ron Polk. Do you know Skip Bertman?
Yes.
Let's talk about that dude. I mean, what you talk about architects in the 90s.
He built a dynasty, Rob, at LSU, and left it in great shape for Jay Johnson, the future guys. Paul Maneri, who was the coach there and won national championships. They all of a sudden they just caught up. And LSU traditionally had been a good program. Remember Miracle Mike Miley, the great guy that got killed in the car wreck. So we were quarterback, baseball player, all SEC in both sports. But they've Joe Adcock, the great Brendan's probably heard his dad tell him stories about Joe Adcock. But LSU's been Skip Bertman just took the tradition and just took it to the 40th degree. So it's amazing. I mean, the 90s, they really ruled baseball like the Yankees in the 50s and 60s.
Well, and speaking of SEC baseball, then you got to look at the Wildcats making their first trip, right?
Yes.
So that's, I mean, now you've got Kentucky. I mean, their first trip to Omaha. I think we're seeing this emergence of this, the teams that maybe not compete in other things as far as football or whatever, but we're seeing now baseball emerging as like basketball. I mean, we had this conversation during the basketball season as SEC basketball sort of becomes a conversation in the South, which is just sort of right. I think baseball always was synonymous to me in the South and the Northeast, especially being somebody who grew up in Colorado, who, watched the Cubs. We didn't have the Rockies, and so we always just thought of things out East was really baseball. So to me, that's baseball in the South, which was always a thing to me, because we didn't have it. And so when we came to Florida, we or New York, where we used to live, I was a Boston Red Sox fan. I liked Roger Clemens because we didn't have anyone else, right?
That's right. All right. So, Bo, love of baseball. Brendan's right. I mean, I grew up, I still live in Memphis, St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
KMOX 1120. Jack Buck, Mike Shannon, St. Louis Cardinals, Anheuser-Busch. You got the Braves, Ernie Johnson, Skip Carey, AM 750, WSB Atlanta. For years, those now they're on 680 The Fan. Did you know the Braves have the largest baseball radio network in America?
It's amazing.
What they call Braves country.
Oh, yeah.
Bo, the marriage between the Atlanta Braves and the college sports fan in the Southeast is unlike anything I see in America. You go everywhere, Bo. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere in between. Baseball Writers of America, National Football Foundation. Let's talk about what Brenden just said in the South, because Braves fans go to those games and the atmosphere is like a college football game.
They really are. And Rob, this is an interesting thing. Old Turner Field, where the Braves, Old Turner Field, it was built for the 96 Olympic Games, is now the home stadium for the Georgia State Panthers in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, in football, rather, right next to the campus. So the Braves legacy lives on in college football. And then if you can find parking or a way to get out to the new stadium, tell me about it, because people say that is one of the most interesting venues to try to make a trip. I think you have to spend about 2 or 3 days to get over there and get back. So it's out in the burbs.
Well, thankfully, Audrey, we got Mallory over there, the oldest of the kids, lives 0.97 miles from the Battery.
Great. And
so I go to the Battery, I can walk home or just, it's easy, just wear your hokas. And but parking there, it's during the day, it's $25 or $30. Game days, it's a hustle. But the tax revenue they bring in from the Battery there in Cobb County, it's incredible. They just looked at their heat map, they call it, where their season ticket holders are coming from. And they got this thing. Every time I go to Atlanta to see my friend Chuck Oliver at 680 The Fan and Southern Sports Today, you will see the heat map. And then you've got the Rays down there in Florida. They're more of a Florida team, obviously. And then the Cardinals on the western front of this network that we have, SEC Sports Network. Bo, college football is huge. It pays for everything. Baseball, Men's World Series. I think it's fueling interest in Major League Baseball.
I really agree too. And hey, the big part of it, and Brenden can appreciate this. Actually, the attention has shifted from Caitlin Clark to college baseball. So that's a major media hookup there.
I mean, it's I see that story, and as a former media director for big entity. I see that story and I'm like, what in the actual F is going on when you do not put her on the Olympic team?
Oh boy.
Because what was the shit that they said? There was some.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the excuse is awful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard the excuse. What is the excuse? They said because they're worried about. Oh shit! I had it written down, but
What?
it is so bad. It's not even believable. Like,
Yeah.
and then did you see her press conference where she came out and said, "I'll see you guys in 4 years, and I'll redeem you guys in 4 years." Why would you not have her on the team?
That's right.
I mean, they're a bunch of jackasses.
Yeah.
Bo Carter, you
Yes.
tell me. I mean, hey, Charles Barkley got cut in 1984 because Bobby Knight said, you are way overweight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were in school then. I remember that. He got cut, but he came back in 88. But
Yeah.
he got cut because he was so overweight. This not
different.
having Caitlin Clark on the team, I mean, she's treated so well by her fellow WNBA players. I mean, they're so, they're so good to her.
She should just go start her own league.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
That's
she
mean,
should.
screw it, because the WNBA is the dumbest ass league in the history of leagues. The
Absolutely.
dumbest. I don't know
In
who's
the
running
history
it.
of dumbasses.
In the history of professional sports, the WNBA has taken, because look at what college basketball has done with their product.
Mhm.
The women's game has emerged. We talked about it all year. Has emerged as being one of the most exciting stories of this year in college athletics and athletics as a whole. And the WNBA has been dropping the ball on this entire time. How many other great stories are in the WNBA that they have failed to tell because they're too worried about Me Too, this, that, all the political BS,
idiots.
when they
Yeah.
should just worry about playing basketball, because those women, men, doesn't even matter. Let's not even call them a gender. They can ball, and it's fun to watch. So what are you doing wrong, WNBA? Because you're still doing it, because she should be playing in the USA team. And I know that's not the WNBA, and I know that's the Olympic Committee. I understand the difference. Just don't jump my whatever. But I'm saying, if you don't think they're not connected, you're wrong.
Well,
You're
and
wrong.
Bo Carter, look at the NBA's numbers in the toilet, okay? Because nobody wants to hear your politics and all your virtue signaling and all that crap. Hey, shut up and dribble. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I don't care, and it's a joke. And you talk about people who go out of their way to fail. They need Bo Carter as their PR director.
Bo, let me
fix
ask
him,
you.
fix him, Bo.
If Caitlin is a man and she still talks the way she does as a guy, is she on the team? Does she perceive differently? I would love your opinion about that.
No, I agree, Brenden. And the thing about it, Rob hit it on the head. A lot of politics, so much politics involved. You got your Tarasis and those people kind of calling the shot. I mean, even more powerful than the commissioner in that regard. So, and Robert Griffin, I think, had a couple of comments about this. There's a lot of jealousy and envy out there in that thing.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark's bringing millions of dollars into the league sponsorships, State Farm, the whole thing, and they're just sitting there saying, "Well, you can do it next time. We'll get you on the 28 team, but we don't want you upsetting the hierarchy of the Connecticut women."
You're losing money. You're about to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
The WNBA is like circling the drain with left foot in. Okay, now you've got the golden goose.
Yeah.
She's going to walk in and save your bacon.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Bo, you know what? To add fuel to the fire that Brenden has just stoked.
PGA.
I'll tell you, it's
Idiots.
the WNBA is so stupid, so mismanaged. I'll describe the WNBA without Caitlin Clark. The respirator's on, the priest is in the room, and they're calling the kinfolk to the bedside. Caitlin Clark is a miracle, okay? She is exactly what they need, and there's jealousy and angst and bitterness among a bunch of people who don't know how to make money, okay? There's a saying in business when people try to say we're going to save money, they're tripping over a dollar to save a penny.
Yeah, that's
The people that run the WNBA are living brain donors.
Yeah, it's amazing too that the commissioner is a former CEO at Deloitte, which, I mean, she's an intelligent lady, and seems to know what's going on. But and again, Robin, when you hit the nail on the head, they prop these WNBA teams up for years and years, or have continued to do by having them in NBA cities and supplementing them. But it's sort of kind of like the G League too. The NCAA's taking, the NBA's taking a bath on it, but they just do it for political correctness for nothing else.
Oh, Bo, I'll say this: I have 2 boys, 2 girls. I've got a wife. I have a mother. I have 2 older sisters. I have never gotten into this battle of men versus. I'm like, what are you talking about? I would never treat someone differently. I'd pay them the same thing. They act like, I mean, are you kidding me? Go to a college football game. Women love college football. They're there. I mean, you know what I do? When we had Riley Gaines on this show last summer, when she was just getting started with her deal, she's right. And you're seeing right through it. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're right. The WNBA, Caitlin Clark, I'm with Brenden. Go start your own league because you know what? People want to see sports. And when you get these guys in the NBA going out and getting in trouble off the court with, all this, crazy stuff, it turns people away. I mean, look, okay, there are more people. I want to know this. The College World Series, the Men's College World Series, who's going to get bigger numbers? The championship, game, the best 2 out of 3 for the World Series for the men's baseball, obviously, or the NBA Finals? I bet it'll be close. I bet it will be very close.
Exactly right. I mean, it's the thing, and I'll say this: ESPN's done a great job of promoting and really, playing up the all the way through this. Regionals on up, the selection show, they've added some drama to it. And so, Brenden hit the nail on the head. Stories like Kentucky, the people in Omaha will have a blue carpet rolled out when Kentucky rolls into town. They love teams that have never made it before. And you think about all the great Kentucky basketball, and then Mark Stoops turning the football program around again too.
Yeah.
They're Nick Mingione could probably run for governor this week and win in Kentucky, I guess.
Well, I think the great thing about the Omaha, the 8 teams going out there, let's talk about the field right now. It's not completely filled out, but we know we've got Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, and Kentucky. And Georgia, they got a tough road. I mean, it's in Athens. Like I always say about home games, getting overconfident, you're most likely to get mugged in your own driveway.
Yeah.
You better pay attention. But you look at baseball around the country, Bo. The SEC, the Big 12, it used to be the Pac-12. Remember? I mean, Augie Garrido at Texas, Rod Ditto at Southern Cal. What did he win? 11 College World Series?
Still the record.
Yeah, and I think Texas has been to 37 College World Series. 37, and they're coming to the SEC.
It's pretty amazing. Get ready because no telling the SEC played a 30-game schedule. I hope they don't go to 36 games next year.
No.
And they were I think Vanderbilt and Florida are 2 of the first teams with 17 SEC losses to make the NCAA tournament. Vanderbilt kept its streak of 18 consecutive NCAA appearances or whatever. But boy, they when you look at those ratings percentage indices and the ELO ratings, those anytime you play an SEC team, your stock's going up.
Okay, you mentioned earlier Florida's strength of schedule this year at 29 and 27 before the regional and super regional. Now they've got 34 wins. They were playing just even their midweek games. They're talking about it this morning on SEC Network. But man, that's a brutal schedule. Like it says in the good book, iron sharpens iron.
Really
you
tough.
get better when you play these better teams.
They don't. They play Florida State and Miami in series every home and away during the season, and that really helps. And then to Florida's credit, and Brenden, you've seen they'll play North Florida and a few. I think maybe they've scheduled Bethune-Cookman and FAMU off and on or whatever. Florida State will too as well. So it's good to get the Gators, the Seminoles, in the same. Always love it when those two.
Gotta love it.
And amazing.
The same table.
Yeah, Florida State's played in 24 World Series. They finished runner-up 3 times, but they've never won the NCAA championship. So that's
Bo. You know something I wanted to tell you. It was real important to me. I hate Florida State. Just wanted to let you know.
I can tell that.
That's all. And Georgia.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I mean,
your favorite team.
But I really hate Florida State a lot.
well, can't we all get along, as L.A.
No.
motorist Rodney King once said?
They're not allowed in the SEC.
Look,
They're not good enough. None of them. I don't like them.
Let me say something real quick. I got to say something real quick about another one of our sponsors, Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Clothing Company on the historic Square, Collierville, Tennessee, having a boot sale right now, 25% off on all boots through Father's Day. They're open up through Saturday, open every day, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get out there. They've got Filson, Duckhead. It is the coolest store, hewlettandunn.com. You can see it. Great selection of boots made out of any and everything you can make a pair of boots out of, man. They are great people out there. hewlettandunn.com. They will ship anywhere that you got cowboy hats. They've got the belts. They've got STS. You name it. Great looking women's stuff. All that stuff they wear on Yellowstone, Schaefer, Pendleton. They've got it all at hewlettandunn.com. Also, Rumble Boxing Gym in Midtown Memphis. How you fight is how you live. And the Vitamin Shop, Oxford and Olive Branch, Mississippi, open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. All right, we are proud to have our sponsors again, and we also talked about a new one, Coolmore Transportation and Logistics, Memphis-based with a global reach. Anything you need, LTL, full truckload, van, the containers, they can do it all, seed, cotton, lumber, anything that you need hauled on a truck, Coolmore Transportation. You'll find them on the website at sidelines.live along with all of our sponsors. Okay, cool story right now. We're talking about college baseball. The state of Florida, whatever happened, I mean, I know Florida State, Mike Martin went 21 times to the World Series, but Florida State never brought home a national championship. You look at Kevin O'Sullivan. You look at Mangione, the coach at Kentucky. This guy's special. Wes Johnson, didn't he leave LSU? And this is his first year at Georgia?
Yes. And he's a rarity too, Rob. He was a pitching coach for the Minnesota Twins for 3 years and one of the few guys that's ever gone back from Major League back to college baseball. I think he actually got a raise going from Minnesota to LSU. So that tells you about the importance of SEC baseball these days.
Well, the bottom line is you look at a coach in his first year, wake up a sleeping giant at Georgia. If you look at the baseball in the Atlanta area, my goodness, all the travel ball is played over there. And everybody else comes in there and gets players. And now Georgia, if they can make it to the College World Series, that is going to have a ripple down effect, Bo Carter, on other teams because everybody shops at Kroger and Costco and Atlanta.
It really is. That's such a hotbed over there. Jacksonville has been, the Bishop Kenny, Brendan's familiar with those schools over there. Bowl School, those places have produced.
I almost went to Bowls.
That's right. I was going to say Chipper Jones, no Bowls.
Yeah, we would have been in the same class.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I was gonna say I literally was gonna go, and then I decided to go wear number 15 and be before Tim Tebow did at Nice High School. So I decided to go. He wore probably my jersey.
That's we love Nice.
Yeah.
You almost went to my wife's high school, Wolfson, which has now been knocked down to a magnet school, gifted and talented school, which you would have fit in well there, Brenden.
Yes, he would have, because he's a double knot spy.
I would have fit in anywhere because I was Ferris Bueller. But the original Ferris Bueller is this guy named Franz Beard. Franz Beard, welcome to the show. Talking a little Gator baseball today, friends. Did they got a shot to win it all?
Well, I think this is where the Gators were supposed to be. Everybody figured that back in February. But, it's kind of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They took a few detours along the way to get there. And starting with the Georgia series back in mid-May, I think this team decided, okay, enough of the nonsense. Let's just go ahead and kick a little butt, win a few ball games, and go where we're supposed to be. the turnaround's been remarkable.
It has. Friends, you talked a lot coming into this season with me, and I'm sure you did, Brenden, as well, just in our conversations every day about the young team, and they matured at the right time is what it looks like is happening.
Well, they did, and they're still a work in progress when it comes to pitching. My goodness. Yesterday, all of a sudden he brings in Frankie Menendez, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my!" And Frankie lasted one batter. Kevin saw 4 pitches and a walk, and said, "Okay, we'll put in another freshman and see what he can do." But it's always an adventure. But what you've got offensively is a team that makes you. Great pitching is when you hold the other team to 1 fewer runs than what you score.
Yes.
Okay.
You said it. That's all that matters.
You could have a 9 ERA, but if the other team has a 10 ERA against you, you win more. You win the ball games. I may not have been a mathematical genius, but I've always figured out that the Gators have never lost a game when they scored more runs than the other team.
That's right.
You're correct. Bo Carter jumping here with friends. I love this baseball talk. We got dueling banjos right here. You talk about 2 baseball savants. We got them. Bo Carter, jump in here.
Oh, thanks, friends. Good to see you too, man. We could have like a Georgia-Florida matchup, Florida State. That's the best thing about the NCAA World Series, when you get a Texas playing Texas A&M, which is going to happen this year, but some of these SEC teams battling it after they've seen each other 5 and 6 times. So you don't think they've got the scouting reports down to the nth degree. It's going to be really they know how to pitch to people. And Frank's perfect point too. Florida can score runs, and I don't know whether the wind directions changed or whatever when they first started playing at what's now Charles Schwab Field. There were 3 home runs hit in one tournament in the early mid-20s, 2015s or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's got to be a pretty good hitter's park, but still a big dimension, so your pitching is going to come into play, especially in the championship round.
Well, they moved the fences in 10 feet.
Okay,
that's right. That's right.
They moved the fences in 10 feet, and that helped. And everybody's adjusted to this BB Core bat. Okay.
Yeah.
They went from trampoline gorilla ball, which is what this thing was. I mean, it's like hitting a ball with a trampoline. Goodness, I'm surprised, and I say this in all sincerity. I am surprised that nobody ever got killed on the pitcher's mound with a ball that came back straight back, considering the amount of velocity. They talk about Caglione getting a home run the other day in Stillwater, 119 miles per hour off the bat. He hit one 561 feet. Mm-hmm. Back the longest home run that has been hit, college or pro, since they started keeping the stats, officially. If he had an aluminum bat on that ball, it would have gone 600 feet.
Yeah,
it literally would have gone 600 feet. And I am surprised, happily, that nobody got killed or nobody got a Herb Score type injury. I mean, there's a lot of folks that don't remember there was a pitcher named Herb Score back in the 1950s who was going to be Sandy Koufax before there was Sandy Koufax. I mean, people who I talked to Ted Williams, and Ted Williams said could have been the greatest pitcher of all time. Literally. I used to be able to sit with Ted at his Hitters Museum down in Inverness and just talk baseball. And Ted would say, Herb Score could have been.
Yeah.
He took the ball off his head, and he was never the same again. He saw double. He couldn't find couldn't find the mitt again.
Well, let me, speaking of that, and I love the history and the knowledge that you two have. It's OTC, as my kids would say, off the chart, off the chain. All right, I'm going to start back and forth, rapid fire with you two. Okay, Bo Carter, 30 seconds or less. Tennessee, 173 home runs. The record's 188 in 1997. Can they surpass that, get 16 home runs? They got to stay alive.
Yep,
But what's going on with their hitters? It's unbelievable.
There's a good chance. In fact, interesting, Christian Moore, the Tennessee, is the first guy ever to hit 30. He's up to 32. But, they've always had that great balance and played. Lindsey Nelson Field, one of our favorite old broadcasters there. In fact, he had a home on top of the hill where he could watch the games after he retired. But they've got a juggernaut, Rob, and I think I'm amazed that Evansville came back and won that middle game against them. But they can Tennessee and Texas A&M, and to an extent, Florida might be the three best hitting teams up there.
All right, Bo Carter, can they do it? I mean, Franz Beard, can they do it? Can they break 188?
16 is going to be hard to get because
in Omaha.
In Omaha, simply because you're on a format. You play 2 games, and if you win them, you get a third. Somebody's got to beat you twice. 6 games, and what do they need? 16 home runs
to break it.
If they can play 6 games, yes, they can.
Yeah.
I don't think they can if it's going to take. I don't think they can if they play fewer than 6. I mean, but Omaha's a strange place, and last year the Gators hit a lot of home runs there. I mean, Ty Evans went to Omaha and hit 5 home runs. Wyatt Langford. We had Wyatt Langford on that team. We had Cagley on that team.
Yeah.
Had a lot of guys that could hit home runs. Tennessee does. Here's the one thing I will say about the ballpark in Omaha, though.
Yeah.
It is really a good line drive hitters park. It is really a gap hitters park. Now the ball travels well there, but it is a gap hitters park because you got a lot of outfield space, and my gosh, it's a great park for doubles and triples. It really is.
Let me ask you this, Franz. God, this is what I love about y'all, the historical perspective. Bo Carter, what team? Now, we don't know everybody that's in the field yet. Georgia's still alive, and NC State. One of those two is going to be there. Who's the team that you think that's in now? Let's go through the teams. Go through the team 1 through the 7. Who's in?
Yes. Again, I think Tennessee might have the edge, from the power hitting and the other power pitching.
Okay.
If Georgia makes it, they've got Charlie Condon, who's obviously, hit 36 home runs, 77 RBI. I think he's in the top 3 in like 10 different statistical categories. Florida, I know Brendan's favorite team, Florida State, sort of playing on a mission. If you remember, Coach Mike Martin just passed away after battling Alzheimer's. And they're sort of playing win one for the Gipper type thing or whatever too. And for instance, that NC State could come back and bite Georgia again, and in that game tonight over there too. So it's going to be an interesting. I'm thinking those 3 or 4 probably the. In Kentucky again, Mingione's done a great job, SEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
They seem to have really deep pitching staff. So they're first time up there. There's always a little bit of butterflies, but I think they've got there's as good a chance as any.
Friends?
I think the Tennessee-Florida State game, which is going to be game number 1, I think that game is going to tell us an awful lot about both teams because you're talking about 2 teams that can double and triple you to death. Now, they both hit a lot of home runs. Tennessee is more obviously. I think Tennessee's ballpark is very conducive to hitting home runs. But I think they'd hit home runs no matter where they are. But just the same, I think that Tennessee-Florida State game is going to be very, very telling. And they're also in the same bracket with North Carolina, which I think of the 4 ACC teams that could be in. Because if North Carolina State wins tonight, it'll be 4 ACC, 4 SEC. Of the potential 4 ACC teams that are in there, North Carolina and Florida State can carry the banner, and they're all on the same side of the bracket with Tennessee. That's going to be interesting. On the left side of the bracket, I think Florida can surprise everybody. Florida's already beaten Texas A&M 2 out of 3. No surprise there, but that's going to. here's where the thing is going to be the battle. Florida can win those first two ball games, but then they're going to have to win two. They're going to have to potentially win two more, and then I don't know if they got the pitching to win two more. And, you get the way the bracket's set up. You win two, and then then somebody's got to beat you twice. And I don't know if Florida's got the pitching to do that. But I will say this: Kentucky's sneaky, and I don't like sneaky teams. I just don't like sneaky. I like a team like Tennessee that's just going to come out there and say,
and make a statement.
We're just going to bash the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And Florida State's the same way. That's why I like that game. That game could be settled by a late 55-yard field goal.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, Fran's talking about Kentucky sneaky. The term small ball, Bo Carter, does that apply to Kentucky? Is that accurate, fair?
Yeah, I think so. They've tried to move some people around with a bunt, and they'll do some hit and run or steal bases. It's kind of refreshing to watch instead of just go. Friends hit it on the head too. I think Friends correct. Didn't they have a Southern Cal Arizona State final before Gorilla in '96? 26-13 in the championship at old Rosenblatt Stadium, which was a launching pad out there or whatever. But
I loved Rosenblatt though. I love
it's so much. I mean, you could still smell the hot dog and bratwurst out there 3 months after the World Series was over. But it was a beautiful. Friends, you're right. It just you go out there now and you'll shit. They still have the scoreboard and
it's antiseptic. It's antiseptic. Charles Schwab Field. It's a beautiful ballpark, and it was made because they thought they might get the Oakland A's to move to Omaha. Yeah. And it is an absolutely beautiful ballpark, but it is so antiseptic, And that's the other thing I hate about so many of these new ballparks is that they are so antiseptic. I like Camden Yards, which it's hard to believe Camden Yards is 30 years old now, but it is still iconic in that. And it's like Bo was talking about. You smell the hot dogs and stuff like that. I like that about ballparks. I like the ballpark where you feel like, okay, somebody where flag that beer vendor. I need another one.
Yeah. Well, and you think about these iconic ballparks, 25,000. The city of Omaha supports it. I mean, earlier we had one of our viewers down in Fort Lauderdale saying, move it to Hoover, but you got to keep it in Omaha because it is the center. It's not exactly the center of America, but it's about close enough. But it's easy enough to where you can make it there from anywhere in reasonable amount of time. But I think they've earned it. 74 years of hosting that event. And now the Texas softball coach wants to move the World Series out of Oak City, out of Bricktown. Well, you can't help. You can't deny the fact that Oklahoma, 4 straight women, College World Series national championships in softball. So look, I love what is happening in baseball because people's interest, Bo Carter, the more they follow college baseball, and we're going to do a back and forth. Don't you think that's a direct that's the annuitization of Major League Baseball, isn't it? Because they're following these guys just like they do when they watch the NFL. They saw them in college. I think it's brilliant.
I think so too. Well, and part of it, I love that, and Brenden and friends probably agree with this too. The great thing about college baseball, of course, in majors, you've got the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cardinals and the Cubs, et cetera. But college baseball, you've got 305 teams with some sort of rivalry. What they were talking about. I don't think Florida. If friends correct me if I'm wrong. Florida had not played a game in Clemson, South Carolina, since 1930 or something.
They hadn't played them since 1983. Hadn't been at Clemson since 1933.
Pretty amazing. So I mean, and then you've got the with these SEC teams, the ACC teams who come very familiar with each other, and boy, there's the fan base. You can see that friends have seen this in Omaha. Y'all have the fans will be respectful, but they'll be very very vocal against the other teams. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna throw something here too. We when we had Dennis Dodd on the show Friday, CBS college football national writer, he used a phrase and a term to describe what's going on in college athletics. He goes, I've already moved on past this stuff. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is happening is happened. So it's starting to hit me because, Bo, you've traveled a ton. Franz, you've traveled a ton. I've been to 37 states and 26 foreign countries. I've never traveled and not had fun. I think it's starting to grow on me how cool this is going to be, because we grew up watching and looking at the magazines like, man, Southern Cal, the Bay Area, Washington. Now we're going to be having football games that I think the whole country is going to be paying attention like they never have before, where it's, it was before the CFA decision in '84, college football was a regional sport. And in 1984, it really did become national, especially when CBS got involved. And if I had $1 for every person that came up to me over the weekend at this barbecue contest in Wynne, Arkansas, thank you, Chad House and ECSHouseIndustries.Inc.com, one of our sponsors. Great Kansas City-style barbecue. And that is tough. We did not win it, but we had a lot of fun and had brisket quesadillas yesterday. But bottom line, I think it's starting to weigh on me and grow on me how cool this is going to be, the interest of fans from all over the country. We're going to be paying attention to each other. But if I had $1 for every person that came up to me and said, I'm going to miss that iconic CBS music at the intro of every college football Saturday. And I said, yeah, we are. It's iconic. But guys, we're about to be learning more about the rest of the country than I can ever remember. But don't forget, 101 years ago, the Southern Conference had, guess how many members? 23. Thank you, David Housel, SID Emeritus at Auburn, for chronicling and putting that out 3 years ago. He said, we've been here before, people. Bo Carter, how about that? Deja vu all over again?
It really is just reform. And Rob, you and friends of mine and I have talked about this. Heck, by 2025, there might be two 32-team conference. Maybe the Big Ten in the old Southern Conference / SEC. I just hope they don't kick Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and South Carolina out of there. I worry about the non-rating schools there. So don't do away with 90 years of tradition.
Well, but you know what? The thing is, I love the regional thing about the SEC, the contiguous footprint, Franz. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying it's going to be cool because hadn't y'all always kind of looked off into the distance and wondered what it's like out there? Well, we're going to put those arguments to bed, Franz, now, because everybody's going to be playing everybody, and it's just going to get more intense as we move forward. But you know what? The fans, once the games start, all this NIL, transfer portal, and all that other crap goes out the window. We can't get enough of it. Franz Beard.
Well, here's the thing: is I think that we're going to wind up. I think they've got it 4 conferences, and I think that's where it's going to stay. I don't think we're going to wind up with 2 super conferences. I think we're going to wind up. I think we're going to have 4. The question to me isn't so much these 4, because these 4 are going to figure out how to survive. The question to me is going to be what's going to happen to the teams that require these ball games with the big schools to survive. What I don't want to see is, for example, Coastal Carolina going broke. Yeah. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Troy having to have bake sales to keep a team on the field. We've got to figure out a way to. The NCAA screwed up with its socialistic attitude of what's good for Nicholls State is good for Penn State. Cool. That doesn't work. No. and it didn't work, and it never was going to work. And it took too long before we got to a point where everything started crashing, which is where it could be now. That we got to do now is figure out a way to make sure that these other schools, what we call the group of 5, have their opportunity. My belief is this. We can still have games with each other, but give the group of 5 its championship. Correct. Have it the same weekend as the big dance. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, if you're going to play, let's say you're going to play, give them, for example, a permanent home. Maybe play, put that game in Atlanta.
I agree.
Put that game in a pro stadium, maybe in Nashville, for example.
Yeah.
And let it be like Omaha is to baseball for the group of five. Here's the cool thing about baseball, and people can talk about moving it out, and same thing with softball. You go, you talk to these kids, for example, the Florida softball team. All they could talk about back in February was getting to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is like the magnet. Baseball, get to Omaha. Give the group of five, its own playoff, and give them something to shoot for. And maybe someday we get to a point where we can have the group of five champion play the Power Four champion. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, that's where I was going. We're about out of time. Right on, Franz Beard, Bo Carter. And we've got to, Jackie Sherrill said the same thing. You've got to have 2 championships in a destination city. That works. What drives people crazy is uncertainty. They like knowing Omaha, Oklahoma City, or wherever the playoff games are. Let's do that. And I do. It is good for the morale of the United States to have college sports good all over the country. And it matters to people. It matters. And there are so many people that we all know in the business world, in life, who have overcome a lot. A scholarship, giving a scholarship to a young man or a young woman from anywhere can change their lives and the lives of a lot of people around them. And you will get out of life what you accept. And if you accept mediocrity, you will be mediocre. And you know what? You look at these sports teams. Look at Florida. They decided, mid-May, like you said, hey, we want more. Bo Carter, unbelievable stuff. Baseball Writers Association of America, National Football Foundation, just one of the best guys around. Franz Beard, he just keeps writing and writing and writing. Repetition's the mother of all skill. GatorBaitMedia.com. And Franz, you look like you're doing better from your injury, but absolutely.
Not really, but I'm here.
But you look.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna tell you what. Hey, he fell down and busted his shoulder up, Bo. But Franz is a winner. Bo is a winner. Brenden, we got the best executive producer on the planet. And again, want to say, proud to have that new sponsor, Coolmore Logistics and Transportation. Check them out on the website. It's all going to be up there. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world, folks. Go out and do great things for other people. God bless America. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching Sidelines.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
So important to shop local and to buy American. For 60 years, Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company has been on the historic Collierville Square, and we strive to sell made in the USA products when available. With over 7,000 pairs of Western boots and work boots in stock for men and women, come and see our huge selection of clothing, jeans, and accessories from top brands made in the USA. Please support local business and come shop with us at Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. God bless the USA.
In a perfect world, you'd set a health goal and results would happen overnight. In this world, the real world, it takes time, dedication, and the right support to achieve your best self. The Vitamin Shoppe health enthusiasts are here to make sure you're not wasting a single moment on the wrong supplements. From the highest quality sports nutrition and superfoods to the most sought after trends, you'll find a huge variety of science-backed solutions for every goal. And the people to help guide you along the path to greatness.
Unbelievably, every 2 minutes in our communities, a child is either bought or sold for sex. I am R.A. Dickey, board member for the Nashville Anti-Human Trafficking Coalition. Join me and millions of others in our fight against human trafficking and for its victims by helping to educate the most vulnerable among us, our middle and high school students. Go to nhtcoalition.org, become a partner, and help keep our families safe, because none of God's children are for sale.